Hi everyone. Welcome to Real Sales 101, the no-nonsense approach to selling. This is what the schools don't teach you. Today we're going to talk about the mental requirement of sales. And a lot of people say to me, why is that important? And it's really important for one reason and one reason only: for your survival, for your mental survival, for your stability and your mental survival. Because when you go into sales, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of pressures. To be able to come through, pressures from your work, whether you work for yourself or you're working for someone else. There's a lot of that stuff that comes through. And over time, over the years, you have a lot of mental, even in the short term, okay, but certainly in the long term, you have a lot of mental pressures that come down on you, and they play on you, and they gnaw at you, and they pick away at you. And a lot of people can't handle that, and a lot of people just shut down or go into other ways, or don't continue like the pursuit of sales the way they should pursue it. And then what happens is, if the mental aspect gets to you, you will tend not to have the same level of success moving forward. Okay, so it's very, very important in sales, when you come into sales, is to have the right frame of mind. Okay. And again, a lot of people believe, well, sales is there, I can do it. It's just one of those jobs that you don't need a school degree for. You don't, like they say, you don't need any special training. It's the kind of thing that any company will take you on for. This is the perception of sales, okay? Anyone takes you on. It's the truth. Why? If you sell, you get paid. If you don't sell, you don't get paid. So what, right? For the company, it's no big deal. They don't owe you anything. So it's great. Salespeople are a dime a dozen. But the difference is to do it well. The difference is to do it to be successful. The difference is to do it to make your sales and to survive at it and to do well at it and to grow. That's the difference. Okay? So it's not just a job where people come in and they say, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, everybody can do it. Everyone says they can do it, but people only do it 50% of the way, 70% of the way, 80% of the way. Very, very difficult to get to 100% of the way. The first thing you have to do is you have to have the right frame of mind when you go into it. When you start your day, it's no different than a sport, no different than playing sports. It's no different than going into battle. You have to psych yourself up. You need the good morale for that. You have to psych yourself up. You have to say, I'm going into it. I'm going to tackle this guy. You have to see the guy like you're on the line and he's got the ball and you're there, and you say to yourself, that guy over there, I'm going to tackle him. He's not going to get past me. I'm going to stop him. Or I'm going to get the ball and I'm going to score, or the puck, or whatever it is. I'm going to score. Or in battle, it's the same thing. You have to bring yourself up to that. And all your personal ideas and ideologies and this and that, forget about it. It all goes by the wayside. You have one focus and one focus only: to sell, and how you're going to do it. So it's really important to get yourself riled up. Because when you walk up to a customer, whether that customer is a huge, massive corporation or it's a one-man show, you have to have one thing on your mind: how I'm going to sell this guy, how I'm going to win. That's basically what it is. It's that mental mindset. It's two boxers in a ring of people that understand boxing. They say that the fight is won and lost right there in the stare down, before the first bell rings, before the first punch is thrown. That the two guys staring each other down for 30 seconds, that's where the fight is won or lost. Because it's a mental game. Sales is a very, very big mental game. Okay? So mentally, you have to have the right determination. Okay? You have to be determined. You have to know, this is what I want. This is what I want. And this is what I'm going to do to get it. You have your plan, and you have your client base laid out in front of you, and you have to know what you're going to do. You don't just walk into it willy-nilly. You don't just walk into it haphazardly. You are not going to make it. You'll sell here and there, not a problem. But beyond that, problem. You're not going to make it. You have to have that determination. You have to be in the frame of mind. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what you're doing. Okay? And once you have that determination and you're ready to go, you're ready to take the field, you're ready to get on the battlefield, you've got your weapon, you've got your ball, you've got whatever it is you need. Okay? You have to say, this is what I'm going to do. It's hugely important. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people back away. They shy away from that. You have to look at your opponent no matter how big your opponent is. It's a David and Goliath kind of thing. You're David. You're David. I don't care if you work for the biggest corporation in the world, and I don't care if your customer is the smallest, puniest guy in the world. You're David, and your client is Goliath. And you have to be in that frame of mind in order to get the customer to you. The moment you slip that up, the moment you don't have that, your climb up the hill becomes that much harder. Instead of a charge, it becomes a step and a slip and a slip and another step and another slip and half a step and a slip, and you get there or you don't get there. You've got to be a bull charging into a crowd. That's the way it is. Mentally, that's what you have to be. And you have to deal with repetitive actions. Mentally. It's not a boredom factor. It's far from boring, sales. It's far from boring. It's the complete opposite. If you're in sales and you're doing it, if you're working to build your business or you're working to build your career, it's far from boring. Boring is the last thing it is. But it is repetitive. It is repetitive. And that's a good thing. Because with repeating, you're learning. Because you're going to encounter all this different resistance. And when you encounter all this resistance, you're learning every time. So mentally, you're learning. So by the third or fourth person you hit that says no, you've now figured out how to overcome the no's, or you've now tried different ways of overcoming the no's. Okay, by the 10th, 20th, 30th person that says no, or that says you're too expensive, or that says I don't want to buy from you, I'd rather buy from your competition, or the guy who says I don't need anything, right? So you're going to go see a customer, and we each have our different levels of where we can take that no, where we can take those objections. Some people can't handle it after 2, and some people can't handle it, will take 20 or 30 or 40 or 100. But there's going to come a point where you say, and that's up to you, but there's going to come a point where you're going to stop and say, wait a second, this is the 100th guy that told me no. I think I better change my tactic. Or I think I better figure out how to overcome that no. Because there's a lot of repetition in sales. Okay? And when I say repetition also, there's that kind of repetition. And there's repetition is, let's say you're a guy making phone calls, or you're a guy that's got to go door to door, or you're a guy that's soliciting people on the street, or a guy who wants people into your shop. Every single type of selling that you do is a repetition. You have to do the first guy, the second guy, the third guy, the fourth guy, and you can't be dissuaded by the people who are telling you no. And you can't be dissuaded by the people that don't walk into your shop, or the people that don't want to talk to you, or the people that say they'd much rather buy from the guy across the street, or the company upstate. You cannot be dissuaded by that, and you're going to hit that. You're going to hit that wall 1,000 times. So you have to have that mental state of mind that you have to be ready to go again and again and again and again and again. And every day it's the same thing. Every day. What makes it interesting, what makes it challenging is that you're dealing with people. So when you're dealing with people, you always get different ideas, different responses, different objections, different levels of satisfaction, different personalities, different words, different likes, different dislikes. So you always get that difference. Okay? That's what makes it different. But the actual actions, your job is the same thing. Call after call after call after call. However you do it. Even if you're just working in a shop. If you're working in a shop and you're there and one day you'd like to be manager of the store. So people are coming in, and how are you going to be manager? How good you are with the customers. So you go up to someone and you start talking to them. Sir, would you like this or would you like that? Would you like a green tie or a blue tie? Okay. And every time the guy walks away from you, you've got to keep going up again and again and again. And the more you do it, the better you do it. The better you become. It's like driving. Okay, the first time you're all nervous behind the wheel, or it's like in sports, the first time, you don't really know, you're running in circles. But the more you do it, the better you become, the easier it becomes, because you've seen more and you've learned more. But you have to have that in you, in your head. You have to say, this is over and over again. Oh my God, I'm doing it again. I'm saying it again. You know, people sitting down, working for a company, sit down by the telephone to call. They don't call 3 people. Some of these don't even call 30 people. It's very, very easy to be calling 100 people a day. 100 people a day, every day. And those who work in call centers, that's a whole other story. That's the whole job, calling. At least the guy calling to sell for a company, he makes a call, then he goes see the customer. You know, there's mixing it up. A guy working in a call center makes 1,000 calls a day. I don't know how many he makes, but he's making plenty of calls a day, but that's the job. But it's the same thing. It's a repetitive job because depending on who you're selling to, every company, every person, every guy walking down the street, every guy with green shoes, whatever the case may be, is a potential client. So when they're a potential client, that's a client that you have to go after. And every time you see that a person that fits that criteria, you're going after them with the same repeat. You can alter your changes based on whether, let's say, I don't know, you know, a person's upstate, a person's downstate. The upstate people tend to be more conservative. The downstate people tend to be more liberal, as an example. Okay, so you know that one way you're coming in with your tie all in a knot, and the other way you're coming in with an open collar shirt. So this is where you can alter. And you alter yourself based on the person that's there, that once you know the person's character or that kind of thing. But basically, it's a repeat all the time. Okay, it's an assembly line in that sense. You're always going through the same motions. You're always doing the same thing. So you have to be ready for that. Okay. In sales, you have to have a thick skin also. You're going to hear a lot of garbage. You're going to see a lot of garbage. There's going to be a lot of insults coming your way. People, even though they think they're on top of their game and they're not being insulting, are being very insulting, and that's the low end of it. The thick skin really comes in because forget all that personal, I'm offended stuff. You know, it's fine for home. I don't know, whatever. In the workforce, you know, don't be a baby about it. You know, you have to move through. If you have that goal, if you want that to throw you off, then it throws you off. If somebody makes a remark somewhere that you don't like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't say that don't be offended by it, but I mean, those who have their sights on a goal and want to get to the goal, it's just another petty obstacle that you deal with and you have to move on with. Okay? If you're going to sit and dwell on it and dwell on what somebody said, and even in terms of objections, if you're going to sit and dwell on these things, you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to take you longer to reach your prize. Okay? You're not there to make a statement. You're not there to wave your personal flag. You're not there to say, hey, everybody, I think this or I think that. No. You're there to sell. You're there to grow your business. Whether your business is a business that you have to come up with sales, whether you're working for a big corporation, a big company, or you're working for somebody else and you have to grow their sales, or whether you're working for yourself and you're the corporation you represent. You're there to bring yourself up. Even if you're just a clerk in a store. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're working as a clerk in the store, humdrum, you come in, you work from 9 to 5, the store closes, you go home, that kind of thing. You punch your clock. It doesn't matter. Because if you want to build yourself up, you cannot let all these little distractions hit you. Mentally, you have to have that thick skin. Don't let the distractions get in your way. Okay? Because there is going to be bad and obnoxious attitudes. Okay? There is going to be insulting situations. There's going to be insulting situations. I had one time that a customer invited me to a barbecue. And I had to take at the time my girlfriend. We were going to go down to the barbecue. And I said to her, you know, my customer invited several business people kind of thing, and it was at his house up in the country somewhere. And I said to my girlfriend, I said, if you're going to be insulted about anything, don't come. Because people are going to be there, they're going to drink, they're going to this, they're going to talk, they're going to say things that you might find insulting, whether it be political, sexist, God knows what. I mean, there's a million different things they can talk about. Whether how they like the roads are made or not. I mean, who knows? Okay, the cooking, who knows? People can talk about all kinds of things. If there's things that are going to be offensive to you, don't come. I'm better off going alone and saying that, I don't know, you have a headache or something, you can't make it. I'm sorry, thank you very much. And that's it. Because people are going to do that. And that's what it is, and that's what the world we live in. No, I'm not here to judge all that. Okay? My point is to tell you to overcome it. Don't dwell on it. Because by dwelling on those little things that people say, doesn't matter. Every person you sell to has their own opinion on something. And if you want to wait to sell to only people that have your opinion on, let's say, how the roads are made, well, you're going to wait a long time. Or you better look long and hard in order to find those people in order to get there. Okay? Because every person's a potential client. Or everyone in your demographic that you're going after is a potential client. And you can't sit and dwell unless you're selling something that has to do with opinions on the roads. You're selling something to do with the roads and you want people that think the roads are too narrow and you think they should be made wider. So this is what you're going after because it's someone of the same frame of mind. Other than that, you're not. And don't bog yourself down on that, okay? And there's going to be, aside from that, there's going to be, professionally, there's going to be a lot of objection. There's going to be a lot of bad words in the objections, okay? I don't like you. You're too high. You're too low. You're too fast. You're too slow. You're going to hear all these things, okay? And you have to be able to handle that. You need a suit of armor for that because it's going to be something that's going to hit you relentlessly. You're going to be that tank going into battle and everybody's shooting at the tank. And sometimes they're going to hit you with a big bazooka and kaboom, there goes the tank. And sometimes they're going to hit you with a lot of small arms fires and the bullets are going to ricochet off. So some of those things are going to sting and going to hurt, and other of those things are going to destroy you. But you're that tank that goes through, and you have to deflect all those hits. You have to deflect all those hits. You're the big running back going with the ball, and people are going to try and tackle you. And you have to, these are obstacles for the running back. These are obstacles for the tank. So what? Everything is obstacles in life. When you get up in the morning until you go to bed, your life is full of obstacles. All of our lives are. It's how you deal with those obstacles, that thick skin that you have, that mental capacity, that mental focus that you have is what's going to pull you through, is what separates those who succeed versus those who don't, or those who succeed quicker versus those who succeed slower. Okay? You need a thick skin. It's like in politics, you need a thick skin. These things, because you're going to be hit from all different angles. Okay? Mentally also, you have to be alert and aware because things are going to happen all around you and you have to be aware. The first time you get hit, there's an old expression, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And this applies here because when you go in, the first time you might not be aware of what to ask or how to deflect an objection. But once you hear it, once these things come your way, you have to learn and you have to learn quickly. And when you're in sales, your mind has to be sharp. You have to have a sharp mind because the guy's going to sell you things. The guy's going to tell you things. The customer is going to tell you things. And he's going to tell them to you. Your thinking is going to tell you you're too high, but he's going to say, you know what? I don't like the boss of your company. Wow, how do you handle that? What do you say? So you have to have a response. Now, the first time you hear it, you're going to be, okay, what do I say? But the second time you hear it already, he's going to tell like the boss of the company. Okay, fine. Well, I'm going to tell him that the boss of the company donates a lot of money to the wildlife fund. Okay, and then maybe that'll help. Or you're going to deflect it and say, well, the boss of the company, you're right, he's not a very nice guy, but the company, listen, there's other people working in the company, and we're all good people, and my department are good people. Okay, so you have to deflect these things. So you have to be sharp, you have to be alert, because you're going to hear things, and you have to respond quickly. Because things are going to come at you, And the guy is not going to sit there. The client is not going to sit there, and he's not going to set a stopwatch and wait. And he's not going to give you 15 minutes to come back with a reply with what he says. Because in a single conversation with the customer, he can throw at you 30 different objections, 30 different negativities, 30 different things that you've never heard of before. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not an exaggeration. You could sit there and tell you, well, your competitor is better this way, and your competitor is better that way. And I don't really like your company all that much. And you know what? 10 years ago, this is what happened with your company. 10 years ago. Okay, whatever. It's the same people here. It's not even the same people. Doesn't matter. He's going to throw all these things at you. You can't tell him he's crazy. You can't tell him he's being unreasonable or unrealistic. You have to deflect those, and you have to be aware that when they come, you have to pick up information quickly. Mentally, you have to pick up information. Guy says something, you have to hear it. You see something in the corner. I don't use any, but on the back of his desk, behind him on the shelf, you see one of the widgets that you sell. He just told you he doesn't use any, but right there on the back of his desk, on the shelf behind his desk, is a widget you sell. He's lying to you, or he's telling you some kind of story, whatever the case may be. Maybe he doesn't use, maybe it's a sample somebody dropped off for him. You don't know, but you've got to find out. You have to be aware. You see that on his shelf. You're walking through his plant and you see the guy using something that you can sell. You listen to what the guy says. He says, I dropped this guy 10 years ago because his service wasn't quick enough. And he moves on to something else. You have to hear that, and you have to understand that. And you have to pick up on that. Oh, quick service. This is important to the guy. You've got to be aware and alert. Your mind is like a steel trap when you're working with the customer. Otherwise, the customer's going to talk. It's going to go in one ear with you, bounce around in the empty space, and go out the other ear. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to miss those opportunities. Be aware, be alert. Your mind always has to be looking and focusing and thising and thating. Always. It's like when you drive. You don't just look with blinders. You're always looking around you. You always see a car coming a mile away. You see a pedestrian. You see a cyclist in your rearview mirror. It's the same thing. You're going in a direction, but you're looking in 100 different directions. You're looking at your speed. You're looking in your rear view mirror, your side view mirror, your other side view mirror. You're looking ahead in the short. You're looking ahead in the long. How? Why? If you teach a young kid to drive, you're explaining them that. And they say, well, how do you do all that? You just do it. You have to do it. It's the same thing in sales. You're listening what the customer's doing. You're watching his body language. You're looking at what he's telling you. Does it jive? You're looking at his products. You're looking at his company. You're trying to assess him. Is he going to be a good buyer? Is he going to be a bad buyer? Does he like the competition more, or does he not like the competition more? Is he looking for change? Is he not looking for change? You're always picking these things out. Because if you're not picking these things out, you're missing key vital information. Vital information. Okay? And you have to have a persistence in your job. You have to have a persistence. You have to be persistent. The client is going to tell you no. Mentally, you have to have a persistence. Because mentally, after so many no's, you want to back away. It's natural. It's normal. You hear no 1,000 times, that's it. You start to get less and less and less interested. You start to back away more and more. But if you know that that person is a user, if you of your product, okay, or if you know that this guy is a potential customer for whatever the reason may be, whatever it is you're looking for, you need this customer. Be persistent. Mentally, you have to be persistent. You have to maintain that persistence. First 2 or 3 times is fine. 30, 40, 50 times, 150 times is it's rough. It's rough. So it all comes down to that frame of mind, persistence, even when you're losing on the field. Do you give up? Do they stop the football game after the 3rd quarter? No. Do they stop the baseball game? The guy's down 22 runs. Do they stop it after the 6th inning? No. Right to the end, right until the last pitch, right into the last swing of the bat. Same thing. Same thing. It's not a kind of whatever. Sometimes you regroup. Sometimes you have to try new strategies. But you have to have that mental persistence, Perhaps the biggest part of it when you're working in sales is the biggest mental part. So frame of mind is you need a type of stamina. All right? You need a type of stamina. So and it's like in sports, or it's like in combat. I would say probably combat more. Sales, and it's not combat, but it is it is a business combat. Really is what it is. You're against the other guy. You go to win. You have your tools, you have your ammunition, you have your weapons, and you're going against another guy to win. To win. It's a take no prisoners kind of deal. So you're going to win. One big major corporation like Coca-Cola doesn't ask Pepsi, is it okay if you think I encroach on your territory? Is it okay if you think I offer a new soft drink on the market? No, they don't ask that. They just go ahead and they do it to try and steal from Pepsi, and Pepsi tries to steal from Coke. It's just the way it is. McDonald's and Burger King and McDonald's, it's just the way it is. They're all vying for your buck. They're all vying for your dollar. That's what it is. So so sales is a combat, and you need the stamina. You have to be able to go the course. You cannot quit halfway. You can't quit halfway through your day, and you can't quit halfway through your month, and you can't quit halfway through your year. You can't do it. If you're going to lose that stamina with all this stuff that's going on around you, it's not really the position for you. It isn't. But because the aspects of sales also apply into life, you need the stamina through your life also. You need it because life knocks a lot at you. There's a lot of things in life. As I said, from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, there's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's trying on you, that's trying on your mind, trying on your body. You have to have stamina. You have to be able to make it through to the end of the day. And then for your family, for your friends, for yourself, for whomever, for your company, you have to make it through till the end of the day. And that's the same thing in sales. You have to be able to make it through. You need that stamina. Mentally, that's the biggest thing in the world. Have frame of mind, have your determination, have your stamina, have the ability to go through. So you get knocked. So you're the tank rolling down the battlefield and you get knocked. And they knock out your treads, and they knock out your gun, and they knock whatever. Okay? You keep going. You keep going. The next day you get up and you have to do it over again. And you have to have that mental stamina. Don't let the little things bother you. It's not worth it. It isn't. Just that's it. Okay? So sales is a mental game, and it is there for your survival. And I would say that's it, for now. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And please like, subscribe, comment. And if you're interested in any personal training or sales, sales training or a consultation, business, that kind of thing, I am available for that. And that's it. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time.